Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Huntress. I'm really excited for my guest today. She's the youngest guest that I've had, and I'm so encouraged because, as the World Health Organization says, there are 1 billion of us on this planet who have walked through childhood sexual abuse. Of that, you have to remember that only 20% of us report. And so we are only representing 20%. So the number is far, far greater. And I love that God's on the move to find you, to help you. I am a huntress of justice. I love that Laine Roberts is here with me today. I wanted to open the show today with a reading from Wild at Heart by John Eldridge. And it was titled Until We Are Broken. And he says, only when we enter our wound will we discover our true glory. As Robert Bly says, where a man's wound is, that is where his genius will be. There are two reasons for this. First, the wound was given in the place of your true strength as an effort to take you out. Until you go there, you will be posing, offering something more shallow and insubstantial. And therefore, second, it is out of your brokenness that you discover what you have to offer the community. And in that beautiful spirit, Lainey is here with us today to help the community, to help our community to give love back. And I'm going to learn the story as you guys are going to learn the story. I found Lainey on Facebook. She had just been to a really beautiful through a beautiful experience where she shared her story. She has convicted the man that hurt her, and I am so proud of her for that. So, Lainey, welcome today. I'm so excited. You're coming to us from Kentucky, right?
Yes, from Kentucky. Small town in Kentucky, that's for sure.
I love that. That is so cool. So, what I want you to do is just start at the story that you're comfortable in. Just, I don't need you to share any of the graphic details. We also share whatever our hearts want to. But I don't know where you were, who you were living with, when this started. Why don't you just go ahead and share with us what you're comfortable with? Bring us into the story. How old were
Okay.
you when it started?
So I'm gonna do a little backtrack and I'm gonna start
Yeah.
off with my parents. So this is all where the childhood started. You know, your parents create you. So my parents loved
Yes.
them. Both of them now are recovered addicts, but at this time being they were on substances. It also, if it's thundering, sorry about that. It's very loud, but it's
No, I
storming.
can't hear
So
anything. That's
okay,
kind of
okay,
cool,
good.
though. I love it. God's
Yeah.
power's with you. It's fine.
Yes. But anyway, so I am the youngest of two older brothers. One's 21, one's 22. So I'm the baby. I was the last one to be conceived by my mom. Um, and at the time being, my parents, they were on drugs. My dad was in prison. My mom was struggling really bad mentally. Mental health has always been a big thing with my family for sure. So it's something that I also struggle with for sure. But anyways, so I was born, whatever. Well, when I was born, my dad's in prison, my mom's on drugs. She struggles with herself. She's got three kids. She's 21 at the time. She had her first child, which is my oldest brother, at 16. So a very young age for somebody to have a child. Um,
Wow. Yeah.
and she didn't have a very good upbringing. Her mom, she was on drugs. So it was kind of just like that generational curse to her as well. Um, so when I was born, I didn't. I was with my mom more than I was my dad, but obviously, we didn't really have our own place. We didn't, we were kind of just like finding where we could stay, where we could call somewhere a home. So I stayed over. I went and stayed over with my grandma, and the guy that did this stuff to me was my grandma's boyfriend. And, when I was young, I've always remembered thinking that this man was the greatest papa ever. I called him my Peppa. And, you know, he latched on to me, I latched on to him, but I think at such a young age, I didn't feel I've always struggled to feel very loved or like cared for. So when I felt that from somebody, I latched onto it in a way.
Yeah.
But when you're so young,
Yeah. It's
you
very
you're
common.
not. you're not taught anything. You're not taught
Mhm.
whether it's wrong, whether it's right. You just think if they tell you that they love you, then they love you, regardless of what happens. So around the age, from what I remember, around the age whenever it started happening. And obviously, when I was young, I didn't know that what he was doing was wrong. I didn't know that it was sexual abuse. I didn't know that I was being molested. And it went throughout the years until I was about 9 years old. And so around the time that I was like 11 or so. And when you're young, like I feel like, my brain even now blocks a lot of things out of my childhood because
Mhm.
being molested is not, it's definitely the worst thing that's happened to me, but I've been through a lot at a very young age. Um, but like when all of that stuff goes on, your brain, it blocks it, because it's trying to protect
Mhm.
you. So my brain blocked it for a long time. And I was 11 years old and I had this older couple. My mom used to go to drug court up at the courthouse down in the town I live in now. And um, they were like a set of grandparents to me. He worked in the courthouse. The other woman, she worked at the sheriff's department, and they were genuine people. Genuine people that were placed in my life definitely to help give me whatever I needed. I mean, they took so good care of me. So I was at their house and it was a birthday party that I'd had. And so when I say led, his name is Thomas Gooden. But when I say led, that's just from what I know him by. But led's the guy that did what he did. So I'm at this birthday party, my 11th year old birthday party. Um, and led and my brother Cody, which is the one that he's the middle child. Um, he lived with Led and my mom's mom for forever. Like he always lived with him. So he was with him. And so they came up and pulled up to my birthday party. No invite, no nothing. So I remember hearing like the doorbell went off. So here's the kitchen. I go to the kitchen. I go in the living room, and there's a screen door. You can see right out. It's just glass, but like it's just a little opening door. The big door's open, but the screen door's there. So I remember going around this hallway and seeing him. And I didn't see Cody. I guess Cody was in the truck. I just seen Led. And at that moment is when everything came back. Like, I mean, what I explained it in my testimony at court was it was like I was put in a never-ending tunnel of trauma and it all came back to me at one big second. Like it hit me so hard. And being
Right.
11, I mean, that's a very young age. And I mean, it hit me like
Right.
everything came back. Everything. It was like flashes and just it didn't feel real. And so I was like, I don't want him here. Like, I kind of just like freaked out a little bit and I was like, I don't want him
Mhm.
here. I don't want him here. So the my so-called grandparents who aren't my grandparents, the ones that had the birthday for me, they told him to leave. Well, fast forward, a couple years go by, I'm 13, I'm having nightmares constantly. I mean, these
And
nightmares.
are you still living with these people where you feel safe enough to tell?
So
Oops.
let me get to that part. Okay, so
Okay.
at the age of, I think it was 10 or 11, maybe 12, I was taken away from my parents. Permanent
Okay.
custody taken away. I was placed with
Oh,
my
okay.
dad's mom. Yeah, I was placed with my dad's mom. So
Okay.
not the grandparents where all of the abuse happened, but I was placed with my
Right.
other set
Okay.
of actual grandparents through my dad. So at first things were great. Things were great, but then it started going downhill. My grandmother, she there was just something I don't, I always thought maybe there was something wrong with me, but now that I get older, I'm like, there was nothing wrong. I went through a lot. And when somebody goes through a lot, yeah, they act out a little bit. But the worst thing that I would do, I got into a couple of fights at school. I was angry. I was so angry, and I didn't understand why all of these kids got to go home on Mother's Day and Father's Day, or even just home in general, tell their parents good night, they love them, or have all this confusion and all these flashbacks and just nightmares constantly of things that have happened to them that they don't want to believe. Because I didn't want to believe it. I mean, if you see all of these things and you're waking up in full sweat, freaking out because you just had a nightmare of your so-called grandpa touching you as a kid, it's gonna like it would freak somebody out. So,
Yes, it does. I know all about it. And yes, it does freak you
yes,
out.
yes, it would I mean, it's like is it a nightmare? Is it true? Is it and then you realize like, okay, I'm in denial and I have to realize like this is I mean, this happened to me. But anyways, so with my grandma through my dad's mom, she was not the nicest to me. I struggled with like vaping, but I never smoked weed. I never drank alcohol. I never snuck out. I never ran away. All I did was fight a couple kids at school and vape nicotine. And in my mind, if that's the worst I can do with what is going on, I think I'm okay.
I'm going to actually agree with you on that, lady.
My parents, when they struggled with mental health or things, they resulted in drugs. And that's one thing I'm so grateful in. My parents' story has allowed me to know what not to do. Don't ever go down a rabbit hole of using a drug because it's never going to fix the problem. It's only going to make it worse.
Right.
So I never did any of that. I was in therapy here and there, but my grandma, she also didn't believe in that stuff. She didn't believe in mental health. If I ever said I was sad or upset or anything, I could not go to this woman and trust her. There was one day, I was 11 years old. So, 11 years old, I was realizing everything that had happened to me. I just had all these flashbacks, like I was in this tunnel of just like trauma over and over again.
Hmm.
And I went to her one night. My parents had actually just got locked up on my 11th-year-old birthday. And I went to her and I was like, "Can I talk to you?" And she said, "You can talk to me about anything." So, when an adult tells a child that, they're gonna feel safe. Well, this is the moment I realized I was not safe to talk to her. I went to her and I'd said, "Mama, I truly don't feel like living anymore." And everything's silent for like probably a minute. She just sits there. And then she finally says something. And what she says to me, "If you ever say anything like that again, I'll give you a reason to want to kill yourself." 11 years old.
I'm
So,
sorry.
no, it's okay. And at that moment, I was like, I have nobody. My parents
Mhm.
are in jail. My brother, he's 15, 16, however old he was. He's worried about girls and this and that. And my other brother, I'm not even around him. Um, my other set of grandparents don't talk to him. I mean, I literally had nobody. So a couple years go down. I'm still living with this grandma. And there was one night my grandma had left and her husband was there. He was going to be there for a week. It was just going to be me and him. I don't know where my brother was. I don't know if he had moved out. But um and my papa on my dad's side, he he could be nice. He could be, but he drank a lot of alcohol, whatever, which it kind of would like, alcohol can change. It's just like a drug. It changes who you are. It can make you angry, it can make you dumb, it can make you it can kill you like anything like that. For him, it just made him really angry. So, I think, and at this point, I'm constantly having nightmares, night after night. I mean, nightmares are like, I'm waking up in sweats, crying. I would wake up crying, like, I guess crying in my sleep. Like, these nightmares were becoming way too overwhelming. I couldn't handle it anymore. So, it's just me and him. Um, and I'm sitting in my room. It's late at night. I've got school the next morning. He shared the room with me before he went. I don't know if he was in jail at this point or if he was in rehab, but I think he might have been in like a halfway house or something. But we had shared a room together whenever he lived with my grandma as well, because my brother had the other room and he just shared the room with me. All cool. Well, there was a bunch of just random pills in this dresser that we shared. And meanwhile, he's not there anymore. It's just me and my papa. I'm very alone. So there was a bunch of random pills in this dresser. I mean, tons. And I came to a point I was like, and I don't know if it just like triggered me being alone with an older man. I'm not sure. I haven't came to terms with that. Even though like I know that that guy wouldn't do anything like that. I think just at the point of where I was in my life, it freaked me out really bad. And with
Right.
all the nightmares, I was so overwhelmed. So I took all of these pills And I'm sitting there in my bed, I'm by myself, and I'm starting to feel it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I think I'm gonna die. And I was like, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. Like I just remember saying that over and over again, I don't want to die. So I had a best friend at this time, and thank the Lord for her. We still talk to this day, but I had FaceTimed her and I had told her, look, I just took all of these pills and I don't want to die. Like I feel it and like I do not want to die. I changed my mind. Like I don't know how to take this back, but I do not want to die. So she's like, you need to go and make yourself throw up. So I'm in the bathroom. I'm making myself throw up. I've got to get all of these pills out of me. I do not want to die. That's the only thing that I could think about was not wanting to die. And I thought about my mom. I thought about my dad. Um, I thought about like how selfish that would be to them. You know, because yeah, they were on drugs and stuff, but they're still my parents. And I could not imagine how it would feel for them to lose me because I almost lost them and I knew how it felt and I couldn't do that. So I'm making myself throw up while I go to sleep. I wake up the next morning and I was very pale and blue to the face. I just did not feel good. My stomach was hurting, my head was hurting. Went to school. Well, the school counselor, her name's Miss Hodges, she is the greatest school counselor that I have ever met. Like I stayed in her office. She made me feel so safe. I could tell her anything and she would listen. She would leave a meeting to talk to me. She did anything. Basically anything that she needed to make sure that I was okay. And I've never really had anybody in my life who done that. So she knows me. I've told her everything. So she can tell something is off. Something is off. So she pulls me in her office and I'm like, I mean, I'm throwing up. I'm like crying. She's like, Lainey, what is going on? I was like, I just don't feel good. She's like, Lainey, I know you're lying. I'm not a good liar. I can't lie. So she was like, Lainey, I know that you're lying. And I was like, okay. I tried to commit suicide last night and I got really scared. So I made myself throw up. I think I'm okay. I just don't feel good. Well, you know, when you tell a school person that, I mean, they have to report it. So they reported it. I got sent to Lincoln Trail Behavioral Health System. I was there for 4 days. But this is really important to the story because this is where I finally opened up about the sexual trauma that I went through. So I get to Lincoln Trail, whatever. I'm there for about a day and a half. Well, I get called out. Hey, CPS wants to talk to you. So we go in this room. It's just me and two CPS workers. They're both girls, very sweet. They're asking me all of these questions, which CPS does. I know what CPS is all about because I've been in it a lot throughout my childhood. So this is not new to me. Um, but they had asked me, you know, have you ever been through any sexual abuse? And I guess my response was I mean they've done that for years so they know if the kid's lying they know. So I said no and they said we can tell that you're lying. So I just sat there in silence.
Wow. Right.
And I was like, how in the world could they tell? So I was like, yes. Said, but this is the first time I've ever said anything about it. And so they're asking me these more of these questions. Now it's like serious. You know, these questions are not just the odd questions of what I'm used to. These are questions that I have not, you know, I've experienced it,
Mhm.
but I've never said any of it out loud. And I don't think that I knew how to. So they're asking me these questions, and you know, I'm replying the best that I can. And after I leave there, you know, a part of me felt relieved, but I was so terrified because I knew nobody would believe me. What if nobody believes me? If nobody believes me, then now I'm a liar. Now, you know, I'm this worst kid that lies about this. Like, what if nobody
Right. And
believes me?
that's terrifying.
It's so terrifying, especially if you're a
That's
child
terrifying.
in an untrustworthy household with somebody who you
Right.
cannot go to about anything. So I'm in Lincoln Trail. A couple of days pass. I finally get to go home. Well, we get home. I don't even know if it was a couple of days later or what it was. Maybe it was the same day. I don't really remember. But CPS came and they told my grandma before I got the chance to tell my grandma. So while they're there, she's like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea." Da 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 da. And I'm like, "Okay, maybe I'm okay. Maybe she does believe me." You know? No. CPS leaves, she changed into a whole different person. And she
Oh
was like,
no.
she looked at me and said, "You're trying to ruin his life just like you ruined mine. You're a liar."
Wow.
I just got out of a
Wow.
mental hospital because I tried to commit suicide. I'm going through all of these confusing thoughts and nightmares and flashbacks, and I finally opened up about something I've been holding on for years,
Mhm.
and that's what you have to say to me. So that's when I got
Right.
angry. That's when I got angry. I got very angry. I started having fights at school. This is the moment that I was fighting at school. Anybody said anything to me, I was going to fight them because I was so angry. I had nobody.
Mhm.
Like
Right.
it's like every other every other turn I took, I was reminded how I literally had nobody. And I was over it. I was like, I'm scared to die, but I mean, it felt like the only way out. I was like, what in the world? And then again, I would go to school and all of these kids are so happy and they just seem so joyful. And I'm like,
Mhm.
what is wrong with me that I don't deserve better? So
Right.
a couple months go by. I move out of my grandma's house and go and live with my cousin. Well, she signs me up for a sexual trauma residential at Lincoln Trail, the Willows program. Meanwhile, she signs me up for a residential mental hospital for sexual trauma, but told me that I lied about it. That's what made me upset. How can you use that
Wow.
to get me in a program when you told me that I lied about it? It all
This
boiled
is
down
your
to the fact
cousin
that
now that tells
no,
you also?
this is my
Oh, your
grandma.
grandmother. Okay, so your
Yes,
grandmother puts you into this facility. Okay, after saying,
yes,
right. And that's a very common response, believe it or not, Lainey. Most people stay in denial and say you're lying, but it's terrible, but keep going. So it's your grandmother. You go to your cousins, but it's your grandmother who takes the step to put you in this inpatient residential treatment facility. Is that right?
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay,
Um,
so keep going.
Yeah, so she puts me in this, she signs me up. Okay, there's a waiting list. So I'm trying to do anything and everything that I can to not go to this place. I mean, it's like a 6 to 9 month program, and I'm terrified. I mean, I don't think there was
Mhm.
ever a day where I did not feel scared. Like, I think that I lived my life every day of my life, and I'm only 18, always afraid. There was always something that I was afraid of. And that is definitely one of the hardest parts of it all. Because now I'm not scared anymore, which is a big difference. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But so anyway, she puts me in this residential treatment for sexual trauma. I'm living with my cousin at the moment. I'm on a wait list and I'm doing anything that I can for her to change her mind. Like, what can I do for you to change your mind? So we get a call a day before Lainey's leaving for residential tomorrow, and I lost it. I mean, I was hyperventilating, sobbing, crying, throwing up, like hiding in the bathroom. I did not want to go. Um, I felt so pushed away. It didn't feel
Right.
like
Again,
she was
it's
singing.
terrifying. It doesn't feel like help, does it? It's
Yes,
terrifying.
no,
You're gonna leave. You don't
no.
really have anything, but now you have to leave and go to something very unknown.
Yes, and then on top of that, I think the biggest thing that upset me about it all was because I didn't feel like she was sending me there because she genuinely cared and wanted me to get help.
Mhm.
She was sending me there because she didn't want to put up with me. She just wanted to give me off to somebody. And that was hurtful. You know, I have a lot of abandonment issues and rejection and all of those things. And there I was
Right,
again,
rightfully so, love, rightfully
pushed
so.
and right again, I mean I'm pushed to the side. So I'm like, here we go again. It's just constant disappointment, constant rejection, constant abandonment. And I felt like I was being punished for
Mhm.
telling what had happened to me.
Right.
So I ended up going to this residential treatment. I'm there for 6.5 months. This was 2023 of June I left, and I got back around December or something around that time frame. And when I get home, you know, I let me backtrack. I'm in this residential facility, okay? We have family sessions every Thursday. So at this point, I had a case manager. I had went to a forensic interview. I've taken steps to get this started, you know? And so I'm in this residential facility and I'm on a family session with my grandma. It's just me, my grandma, and my therapist. And she's like, I have some bad news. And I'm like, okay. And she tells me that my case is closed. My case is closed. In the back of my mind,
Um,
I'm like, there's no way. Why would it be closed? And her response was something about how the state trooper that was over top of it, he had to leave for the military. They didn't find enough evidence, da da da, so they closed my case. So there I go again. Abandonment, rejection.
mhm.
So later on down the road, I get home and, I just accepted it. It's closed. I tried, but I'm never speaking of it again. So I get home and things are just still not good there. She's still rude. All they do is drink, and I just cannot handle it. So I was like, Mama, can I move in with my cousin? The same cousin that I lived with before I left. Meanwhile, my cousin's around, she's like 25 now, but she has 3 kids, whatever. So I was helping her with the kids and, whatnot, keeping my mind distracted. And also, it was a much safer place for me to be. So I go and live with my cousin, and things are good. I'm happy. I'm thriving. I mean, everything felt right for like 4 months, and that was about it. So about 4 months goes on, and I'm not taking care of my cousin kids the way that she wants me to. She's going to bars and bar hopping and all of this stuff, and I'm left with the kids. Well, in my mind, I don't mind because I love kids, but I'm not their mother. So I brought that to her attention. She didn't like that. She said that everything that my grandma ever told me was true, that I needed to leave her house. She was tired of me. So my dad,
Oh
he got
man.
back home from rehab, but he's living with my grandma. So here I am, back at my grandma's. But at least I have my dad now. My mom's in treatment at this time in way out in like Union, Kentucky. But so here I am back at my grandma's house with my dad. Well, trying to think of what all nothing really went on there. I mean, I kind of just like Lisa didn't really say anything, which my grandma, she didn't really say anything um at all. My dad was there so he could take care of it, because I'm his child or whatever. So my dad, he gets a job, he works, he gets money, he saves it up. We're getting a place. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting my family back. Meanwhile, I haven't lived with my mom and my dad since I was like 9, 10 years old. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. So we're gonna get a place. And we go and rent this big, like Ford white van. We drive all the way to Union, Kentucky, and we go get my mom, pack all of her stuff, and we've got us a place. Brand new house, all the above, wonderful. So things are going pretty good. Things are going good.
And
Uh,
how old are you at this point?
um, 16, 17.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So I'm around 16, 17 years old, and uh, I'm living with my parents. I'm going to school. Things are good. I don't remember where I was. Or maybe I woke up. I don't know if I was sleeping. I don't know. But I remember I came out of my room, went and sat on the couch, and my mom said, "We have somewhere to be this afternoon." And I was like, "Where do we have to be?" I'm like, "I didn't know we were doing nothing." I was like, "Okay, where are we going?" So she looks at me and she was like, "State trooper called. Your case is not closed and it hasn't been closed." What?
Wow. Wow.
Meanwhile, I was 13. No, I was 15, 14, 15 when I was at this residential treatment. So it's been about a year or so. I'd completely not took it away from my brain. I still thought about it, but there was no sense in
Right.
trying again. You know, I just was like, I gotta live with it regardless. You know?
Hmm.
So hearing that was like, is it real or are you lying? Like, I was like, Mom, I was told it was closed. Like, there's no state trooper in my case. She was like, your case was never closed. So I'm like, Lisa lied to me.
Wow.
My grandma lied to me. While I was in my
Mhm.
most vulnerable state in this residential treatment, she lied to me. So I'm ready. And I'm nervous because I'm like, whoa, you know? So me, my mom, my dad get in the car. We have to drive to my grandma's house because that's the address on the whole case. Goes to show the case never got closed. So
Wow.
I go there, he's there. And I'm gonna say his name because this man is the most wonderful man I've ever met. His name is Trooper Stucker. And
That's awesome.
yeah, so we met him there, and he's got his little recorders, and he's asking me questions, asking my mom questions, and I'm telling him these questions and whatnot, and I was like, I thought my case was closed. He said, no, your case isn't closed. Well, after this recording, he goes and does like 29 search warrants on this man's house. Took a couple months, but then he was arrested.
Wow.
He got arrested. So I don't remember the exact date that he got arrested, but it was like a few months before trial. There was court dates and it was months before the trial ever even happened. But he was arrested. So, you know, state trooper. Um, I've now got, oh my gosh, all these words are so big, so new. Like, what is going on? I'm like, what did I get myself into? So the first court date, we are told by Trooper Stucker and my victim advocate that, which I'm 17 now, and this was last year. Yeah, last year. Um, so we were told we need you to come to this court date. And like, where my mom's like, what is it for? You know, what's it about? And they're gonna try to let him out. They're not gonna hold him. Like, but we need you to come and explain to them that you do not feel safe if he gets out. So I'm ready. I was like, I'm ready. So we go up to the courthouse, um, and I just explained that I've already been through so much. I had to go through what I went through, and then more to that with everything with my grandma, the residential, the abandonment, rejection, every single bit of it, just for him to get out.
Right.
So I explained that, and I told him like it is not safe for him to get out. There's no telling what he'll do. There's no telling what his plans already are. It is not safe. So they did not let him out. They still held him. So I'm succeeding. I'm finally feeling like I'm starting to feel that like glimpse of freedom. I'm seeing like those instead of being in that never-ending tunnel of like trauma, it's like being in a never-ending tunnel of seeing like hope, you know? Like
Quite a
you
different
feel
thing.
yes, you feel hopeful because you're finally
Yeah.
being heard. You're being heard by these people. You've never met them in your life. And you're like, so you're telling
Yes.
me that my blood-related grandma can look at me and tell me I'm a liar, send me off to this residential treatment, get rid of me basically, and not listen to a word that I had to say. But these people that have no idea anything about me can listen to me and do anything in their power, stay up late at nights, doing paperwork, doing search warrants, all of this. But she couldn't hear me for just one little word that I had to say, but they did. And that taught me like that was my greatest strength. I was finally being heard. I was like, this is my time,
Yes.
you know? So
Yes.
fast forward, there's a few court dates in between as well. And um, they're I don't remember exactly all of them, but I wanted him to see that I was there and I was not playing. That I was not playing. Was I deep down terrified? Yes. But I didn't show that, and I didn't want to show that. I wanted him to be terrified. I wanted him to know that he was going down for what he did to me. So later on, well, duh, he's a narcissist. He's not going to plead guilty to something. So he doesn't plead guilty. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. You don't have to. I'm going to prove that you're guilty. So there was another interview in November of this is a little backtrack, but I've got to bring this up too because it happened in the trial. But not last year, but the year before, November of 2024, State Trooper Stucker brought me and my mom to the sheriff's department in Nelson County and was like, "We're doing an interview, whatever." And I mean, like, I've done been through so many, and it's like the same thing, I'm low-key, I'm getting kind of over talking about it all the time. It was just very overwhelming. Well, at the end of this interview, he said, "I have something that I got from the search warrant, and I need you to tell me what it is." So I'm like, I'm nervous. I do not know what he's about to bring in this investigation room. I'm
Right.
nervous. So he walks out and he goes to his cruiser and he brings this Kroger bag and sets it on the table. So my mom's right here and I'm right here, and he sets this bag right in the middle of us and starts to untie it. And he pulls out 2013 Nelson County Princess sash, a jean skirt, and like a top that I had. He was like, "Is this yours?" I immediately went to my camera roll and pulled up a picture of me wearing her outfit and showed it to him. And I sat there and I was like, it's like, he was like, "Yeah." And I just like picked up this skirt. Meanwhile, like, I don't have anything from when I was little, nothing. All that I have is trauma. I don't have, I have a few good memories, but I don't have any clothes. I don't have any, little coloring sheets or anything. I have nothing. So I'm holding this skirt and it's like probably like, I mean, it's tiny. It's tiny. And I'm holding it up and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I just lost it. I just lost it. I never like to know that I was that small, because
Mm.
you're telling this story of what this man done to you, but then you see the clothes that you were wearing at this time being, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, I was that
Right.
small." And he did what he did to
Exactly.
me.
Right.
So I realized it like 10 times, and I was just like, "Oh my gosh." Like, he was crying, I was crying, my mom was crying, we were all crying. And so, still a little fast forward again. So, trial's coming up. I'm preparing myself, whatever, very nervous. Meanwhile, trial took about 3 days. Um, my other cousin on my mom's side, not the one that I lived with, on my mom's side, her name, well, I don't know if I should say her name, but she went in and testified. My middle brother, stuff happened to him as well. He went and testified. My mom testified. The state trooper testified. I was the last to testify. And before I went in, they looked at me and said, "Your testimony is going to be the results to this case." And that's a lot of pressure. That's a
That's a
lot of
lot.
pressure.
Right.
So I'm sitting here like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm terrified. I'm so nervous, but I'm also ready. When you feel so like
Mhm.
ready to get something over, but like in a
Right.
good.
Someone's listening. Someone's listening. It's my
Yes,
day in court.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. So I had waited literally 3 whole entire days to be on the stand. I mean, the last 2 days, I'm literally just sitting in a room by myself, not knowing what's being said, not knowing what's going on, whatever. But I wanted to go, and I didn't really know how court worked exactly yet. But now that I do, it's very much, especially with testimonies. You can't be in the room if my mom's testifying or my brother, because then I could like say something to agree with them, and it's a whole big thing. So
Right.
I'm about to go. Well, the door opens and it's like, "It's your turn." So I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart, I just remember my heart was beating so fast. It was so fast. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I was terrified, but I was so ready. And I walked in there, walked in between, his side and my side, which on his side, he only had like a couple of his brothers and sisters. And I didn't even look at them. I didn't even take no, wasn't gonna do it, wasn't even looking at him. But I looked at him though. I looked at Led. I wanted him to see me walk in that courtroom with my head held high because, I mean, he needed to see that. Like, he really thought
Yeah, as a
that what he
victor,
did,
not a
he
victim.
was gonna, yeah, yes, he was gonna get away with
Yeah,
it. No, I fought and fought and fought. So I get up on the stand, I raise my hand, agree, yes, yes, Your Honor, whatever. Keep asking me questions. And the biggest thing that they brought up was 2020, I completely changed as a person, which 2020 I was 12. I was 11 or 12. I'd cut off all my hair, never wore anything that was pink, girly, makeup, nothing. I had literally a fade. Um, I came out as lesbian and I did not want a man to look at me. I did not want anything that would give a reason or give a man a reason to say I was pretty, to look at me, to
right.
hurt me.
Very
I did not.
understandably, actually, very
So I,
understandable.
yeah, so I cut off all my hair and I had sent my victim advocate some of the pictures because at that time I didn't realize what it was for. Why did I do that? Because, my mom, she was on me. She was like, Lainey, you look like a boy, da da da. I don't care if you like girls, that's fine. But you're looking like a boy. And I just got mad because I was like, why do you care? Like it's my hair, whatever. But so anyways, I brought that up in court because being molested for so long literally changed me, like physically changed me and mentally, but mostly physically changed me as well. Like I cut off all of my hair. Meanwhile, I was in pageants as a kid. I was in pageants. I was girly girl. I mean, bows and everywhere that I went, I had a bow in my hair. I was sassy. I was a girly girl. I changed everything about myself. And they brought that up and they showed a picture, that same exact picture of that sash, that jean skirt, and that little tank top. And that's when I started crying.